Hey folks, this is Johnny. Welcome to another Home Studio Trainer show, and we're going to continue with our Impact 101. And this question was asked in the comments of the last Impact video that I did. Okay, so you have actually shown us how to take external samples and bring them into Impact and EQ them and stuff, or not EQ them, but process them and things. So what if I want to build a kit from an existing VST plugin? And I'm going to show you that here. So on this machine, I have a plugin. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Oh, before we get started, and I always forget this, please like and subscribe to my channel. Like this video and enable notifications so that you know when these videos are going to start. And if you really want to support the channel, I'm kind of stuttering here. If you want to really support the channel, hit the join button at the bottom of one of the videos and give a few bucks a month and become a paying member. And as soon as I get enough members, I'll start having live streams just for you guys. But there are live streams coming one a month that I'm going to start doing next week, so be prepared for that, and I will post it with plenty of time to schedule your time around things. All right, so here we are in the classroom. And if you guys remember kind of where we were with the last one, I had built a kit using some samples that I have in some files that I have. Here I have a D4 drum sample pack that I was in part creating, and in part I got from another user, so I added some stuff to it. So it was what I was using in the last example. But this time we're going to do something a little bit different. So I don't have many third-party plugins on my PC, but I do have this. I have Manda Audio's MT Power Drums. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. So the question is, there we go, we got some good sounds here. I love this drum kit. It's only one drum kit, and it has, I should do a video on this too. It's got a lot of grooves and stuff that you can choose, and you can use the grooves with any plugin that you want, and you can use them with Impact. But what we're going to do here is we are going to take... Hold on a second. There we go. We are going to take these sounds and we are going to bring them into Impact. And you might be asking, well, how in the heck do you do that? Where do you find the samples? Well, you don't. You have to create them by hitting the drum sound. So here's what we're going to do. So I've got my Atom here, and I'm going to deactivate the record arm here on Impact, and I'm going to activate it on MT Power. There we go. So with that, it gives us a pretty good idea on all of the sounds that we have available to us. Excuse me. I didn't have a mute button. I couldn't get to the mute button in time, so excuse me there. All right, so here's our drum kit. And we want to create an Impact kit using all of these sounds. I'm going to show you how to do that. So here, for the MIDI, one of the things that we're going to do is we are going to play the sounds, and we are going to record the MIDI data. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to kind of do this in a general MIDI form. I'm going to hit record. I'm going to hit the kick. I'm going to hit the snare. I am going to hit the other snare. I'm going to hit the rim shot. And I'm going to hit a third snare. I'm going to hit a hi-hat. I'm going to hit the foot. Going to hit the open. Oops. Too many samples. I'm going to hit the crash. I'm going to let it ring out. Gonna hit the ride, and now we're gonna do the toms. Oops, that's not a tom. There we go. First tom, second, there we go. So we have 2 hits per tom. So I'm just gonna stay right there. There we go. So I have all of my hits on this track and everything that I want. Now, I'm going to do something very important. I can either do bounce or I can do transform to audio. So in this case, since I'm not going to use, I don't have another plugin to do this, I'm just going to do a very simple bounce selection. Boom, there we go. Now those are the audio files for everything that I just played. All right, so now since I'm done with this, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say remove track and instrument. There we go. So now we still have our impact and we have our samples. So now what we're going to do now, since I didn't do it to a grid, I can use the detect transients and things like that, but I prefer to actually do it manually. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to get the split tool here. And there we go. I got the split tool, and I'm going to turn off the snapping. Now, I'm going to actually enlarge this. So we got the first one. There's a kick. See what the second one is. Okay, so here's the first kick. And I'm just going to go right before it. Boom. And then I'm going to go to the snare. I'm going to go right before it. And I'm going to go to the next one. Go just before it. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the next one, which is what? Whoops. Let's try it again. See, did I do this right? Let me actually just make sure. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to go to the knife tool. Okay, there's another snare. I think I missed this one. That's a hi-hat. There we go. And then this should be the open. There we go. So we're going to go to the hi-hat. Go right before. Now here I can do this too. This makes it a little easier. It's just the data zoom. And this should be the foot. Kind of sounds like a half open hi-hat more so than a foot. Perfect. And now next. Oop, that was the one that we don't want. So this should be the first one here. Alright, so that's a crash. Now the other thing that we can do here also is we can... This is a crash. I should have done this with the other ones. So I can actually. Okay, that's the one that we don't want. So we're going to go to the eraser tool and get rid of that. And we're going to bring this guy down here. Just makes it easier. So what is this one? That's open hi-hat. And what's this one? That's the foot. And this should be the closed. Alright, I'm just going to go back a little bit. I know this is going to take some time. I don't even know what this is yet. That's a snare. And I think that's snare 3. And what's this one? That's a rim. And this one. This is snare 2. And I think this is snare 1. Yep. Now, if you're wondering how I'm doing this, I'm right-clicking on the name, and it gives me that box. And this is the kick. Forgot how to spell the word kick. Alright, so let's see. So this is nothing here, so we're going to get rid of that. Alright, so we're going to continue. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so what is this? I think we're starting to get into the toms now. Oh no, that's a ride. Go back to the split tool. And, oh, I got that labeled a crash. Boy, I'm not paying attention here. Crash. Oh yeah, you know what, that changed? Because I hadn't split them all yet. That says rise. All right, there's ride. And what's this one? Ooh, that's a China boy, I think. Let's see if I can move this back. I didn't give myself enough room here. There we go. All right, we're going to call that the China. Don't laugh at me. I can hear you all laughing in the background. All right, so let's see. What's this? Okay, that was the first Tom that didn't work. All right. So we're going to cut this guy out as soon as we get that. Let's see here. Whoops. There we go. So now we can move all this down, and that's another Tom. So we're going to right click and we're going to say Tom 1. So that's 1. That's the same one. 2. This will be Tom 2. And then we're going to go here. Yeah, it's the same. Well, notice I'm actually leaving the sample as long as it sustains, and this is important. So if I go to this one, I don't want the double toms. I just want the one. So let's go here, get rid of that. Go back to this and move this over. So this is going to be, this should be Tom 3. So, that's slow. Okay, so this is going to be Tom 3. All right, perfect. So we're just going to shrink this down here. So now I've got all my samples. There's 1 Tom, 2 Toms, 3 Toms. Okay, we don't need all of this. And here's that one. So this is, well, that's the China. Tom 1. Okay, so we've got all of our samples cut and titled. Now, this is how easy this is. We're going to go ahead and open up Impact. And now we're going to have a little bit of fun creating a kit. So here we got this on default. So I'm just going to click here. Let me get this going here. There we go. So we got, I'm going to do this general MIDI setup. So here's a kick. And now here is a snare. And then here is a rim shot. And then here is a snare 2. And there's a snare 3 over here. Now for the hi-hats. We got a closed. And then we have the foot. It's not really a foot, but that's okay. And then we have the open. So now the important thing about this is that we are going to make sure that our closed hi-hat is set to choke group 1. Our foot is set to choke group 1. And our open is set to choke group 1. Perfect. All right. So now we want our toms, and they usually go on these keys up here. So let us move this over. Oh, wait, got a crash. And a ride. So let's see the kick. Oh, we got to make sure, too, that the kick, rim, and snares are set to off. That way they don't cancel themselves out. There we go. And I think all of the other ones, whoops. I think all the other ones are set to, oh, this one needs to be off. I want, okay, crash and ride. Okay, let's do toms now. So we want tom 1. Oh, do we want the China boy? We can actually set the China boy. That's going to have to be on B. That goes to the next key. All right. Let's go back to A. And tom 1. And the second tom is going to be here. So that's the for the left and right hand. And if you watch the last video, I usually take the second tom. It seems that it's a clone of the first one. And I could have sampled the left and right on the other one, but I think they're the same also. So I can actually go ahead and tune the second one down just a little bit. There we go. So here's tom 2. Tom 2 goes here. Tom 2 also goes here for right and left. And I'm going to take the left one and tune it down a little bit. And then the floor tom goes on this one. I think I'm going to replace this one. And I'm just going to go with tom. There we go. There we go. Now, one of the things that we're going to do that you don't have to do, but I do anyway, is since we actually brought these samples in from here, from actually tracks that we recorded. Let me see, I'm going to go file and I'm going to say, or is it song? I always forget. Copy external files. Let's see what happens here. Okay, there are no external files. And the reason for that is because these are already internal. But there is something extremely important we have to do. We don't just save a preset. We have to make a kind of a backup for this kit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the little disk here. And we are going to say export sampler file. So when I hit that, we're going to go to the desktop. Like I said, if you watched yesterday's video. And we're going to call this, let's see, MT Power Clone Kit. I don't know why I'm saying it that way, but I am. All right, so I'm going to hit save, and you can see it's exporting all of the files that we created into a single file. And remember, it puts them all here. So we can either save this as a preset, but I don't like doing that. I prefer to do this. I click on the disk again. Now I go to my import preset, not load, because then if you close the song and reopen it, all the sounds are gone. You go to import preset. We're going to go to the desktop. And now we're going to say MT Power Clone Kit. Click on it, open. We get one preset imported. And if I go down here, remember that these imported have a little bit of a different icon. So now you know that this kit is actually inside a Studio One folder for your presets. So now we have our full kit from our favorite VST. So this is kind of cheating. If you get a demo version, oh, I shouldn't even tell you this. If you get a demo version of a VST kit and you want to collect the sounds, then you can actually do it that way. But mostly, since I only did one level, now there's still another video coming on how to do multi-level samples. So in other words, as you hit a pad a certain strength, it's going to trigger a different sample. Now, not all VST plugins do this, but what I'm just showing you here is basic raw, just one hard hit, but it actually does work in the grand scheme of things. Just like that. It works really well for creating your own kits. Now, this is really good too. You can actually take the samples, like I showed you last time, and you can customize them. I'm going to do a whole video on just this section right here at some point, but I'm just going to show you a couple of things like I did last time. You can hear that there's a little bit of room ambience on that snare. I can just take the decay on the amplitude section. There we go. And for the kick, that's pretty dry anyway. Rim. Yeah, we can do the rim. We're going to go ahead and use pad focus, so when I hit it, the editor goes right to it. All right, so let's see, what else can I do? I can actually take this snare. I'm actually going to put the room back. And I'm going to turn on the filter. I'm going to raise the resolution a little bit. Or not resolution, the resonance. So you can, there you go. It's kind of like an EQ. And I can actually hit the punch. Listen to that. I can do that with the kick. I don't think that there's enough on this kick to actually do that with, but we'll see. Kick, punch. Yeah, not bad. There you go. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do. We can really tune these things. Like you can take the snare and make it really piccolo. I know, you really don't want to do that, but that's okay. All right, and then we can go through some of this stuff, and like I said, there'll be a whole video on just this section alone. And remember, you can zoom in on your samples up here, and if you feel like the snare isn't triggering right away, you can bring this in just a bit. There you go. Let's see if this one's actually triggering right away. Sometimes I don't get my cuts right where they need to be. Yeah, see, this can come in a little bit so that you can trigger that sound like immediately. And then I'll be doing a video on actually bringing in some of the effects and how to save a kit with an effects chain. It's really, really cool that you can pull all of this stuff up. And then we'll be going into multi-channels. We'll be going into multi-level samples and all sorts of things. So let's see. Let's go back here. And there we go. So I hope you guys got something out of all this. This is a really good way if you're used to using Impact or you just want to customize your sounds a little bit. Keep watching this series because we got a lot more to go with multi-channel and multi-level samples to really get a good dynamic drum kit out of it. So I hope you guys got something out of this, and I'll see you in the next video.